Good morning, Daryl and Larry here, Selling from the Heart. We're actually live because the book, Larry, congratulations.
I know. Here it is. We've been talking
shipping
about this for a
today.
while.
Congratulations, man.
Thank
Selling
you.
the Post-Trust World is live. What a gift.
You know, it
And,
seems like we've been, hey, Daryl, it seems like we've been talking about this for a while because we have.
We have been talking about this, and we've been looking forward to this day. It's shipping wherever fine books are sold. We're going to tell you in just a few minutes, if you haven't got your copy yet, or if you'd like to grab another one, how you can go and get access to some really, really cool special offers. But hey, I want to say, Larry, thank you on behalf of the entire community of Selling from the Heart, and really on behalf of the sales world overall, all the authentic salespeople who are out there struggling in selling in what is one of the most skeptical landscapes we've ever seen before, putting forth this guidebook in how to sell. This is really, truly a book for today and for the world we face right now. And I'm so excited about it.
Oh, no, thank you. And you know, the people that have been pouring their hearts out, especially today. I mean, I woke up this morning to text, Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts, podcasts that I've been on that are dropping today. I appreciate you. I've always said, you know, in Selling from the Heart, everyone was rallying around authenticity and waving the flag and bringing Selling from the Heart to the movement. Well, now Selling in a Post-Trust World just takes this and builds upon it. I will tell you this, and this is from people who have already read the advanced readers copies when we were getting those out. This is a book that not only transforms your professional life, but also your personal life. If you apply the trust formula to your personal relationships, watch what starts to happen.
It's so true. And that this book was really born out of a conversation. Selling from the Heart was spreading all over the world, and it was doing extremely well. The message was resonating. But the question became, how do we take this and how do we take this and make it even more practical? How do we take this selling from the heart concept of your authentic self sells you and turn that into the outcome that we all really desperately want and need as sales professionals? And that is trust. And how do we do that in a world that is, as we talked about already, less trusting than ever? I love the title, Larry, by the way, the post-trust world. I think that phrase captures the current marketplace better than anything else out there. We're in a post-trust world right now.
And we have been for quite some time. But you know, when you read the book, and I hope you will read the book, it's an easy to read book. If you apply this, and by the way, when I wrote this is exactly through a practitioner's point of view. We live, eat, breathe, and sleep this here at Selling from the Heart. But if you can apply these 4 foundations, and it's in formula kind of foundations, watch what starts to happen. But it was just all born out. It was just all born out of being challenged in what does Selling from the Heart really do. And 2.5 years ago, I had no idea that one meeting would launch us not only building this out, but kickstarting me and writing this book. Okay, start
cool
reading.
How it's come together. Yeah, so we're gonna do a dramatic reading. Actually, I'm just looking at the front of the book. What's cool is the number of people that have stepped up to endorse this book. And Larry, I mean, there are so many names here in the front of this book. It just seems almost overwhelming to say thank you to everybody that read a copy of this as it was being, in final stages of editing, and stepped up and said, great things about it. But I love what Jack Hubbard, our good friend Jack Hubbard, said. He said, belief and conviction are at the core of selling in a post-trust world. It provides insights about doing well by doing right, and looking forward to greater results by looking inward to build unbreakable client trust. What a great quote. Thank you, Jack. And Larry, I love just seeing the feedback. Of course, we've been training on this as a company. We've been putting this trust formula that's right here in this book to work inside companies across multiple industries over the last year and a half, 2 years to really prove this out. And what I love is the ideas in this book are already working and they're proven. And this is the type of book that someone can pick up and put to work right away, chapter by chapter, and become better at what they do and get better results.
I remember this is when Selling from the Heart was coming out. So I just got to share this quick story because the same thing applies to this book. And I remember talking to Daryl about this. And when we were on that ride, and that ride, and him and I were driving across Arkansas heading to Texas, totally hilarious. Topic of another conversation. But I said, if I'm going to write a book, I want to write a book that somebody's going to pick up and reread, not just pick up and go, why the heck did I buy this, or get halfway through it and shelve it, or then repurpose it somewhere else. And we all know what repurposing somewhere else means. And that's what I believe is going to happen when you read Selling in a Post-Trust World. This is a book that you're going to want to reread and reread. And I'm not saying this in a braggadocious way. I'm saying this in a very heartfelt way, that if you apply the principles of this book, not only will you grow yourself, you'll grow your sales and your relationships. And I know that's what you want. And you will build trust along the way at rapid rates. Very, very easy to read and very, very easy to apply.
Yeah. And I think that's what's so powerful about the trust formula. And the trust formula is right there in the book. And you can also find, I mentioned at the beginning of this, there were some resources that are available. Somebody mentioned those. And then let's talk about this trust formula. Right now, when you order the book at Barnes and Noble, and it is shipping as of today, when you order the book at Barnes and Noble, we have some special bonuses from you. Now, here's the great news. You can buy this book wherever fine books are sold, and we'd love for you to do that. We'd especially like for you to go to Barnes and Noble and do this. Why? Simple. Barnes and Noble is the largest footprint of physical bookstores in the United States. And as we get their attention online, our hope and strategy and our desire is to get this book on the shelves of Barnes and Noble in the stores, not only online. So we want to get their attention. So that's why, and we have put together a special offer. We've been talking about this on the podcast. This offer is still good today. If you go to sellinginapostrustworld.com, that's the title of this book.com, and you'll get instructions there on how you can get access to fantastic bonus items on there. One of them is a printable graphic of the trust formula. Another is a mini course about the trust formula. But what I'm most excited about is something brand new that's going to be fantastic. And that is when you go to barnesandnoble.com, pre-order the book, head back to sellinginapostrustworld.com with your order number. You'll get access to a limited edition private podcast. And here's what we're going to do. This is going to be a private podcast. It's not going to be out for public consumption. It's only going to be available as a thank you to the people that pre-order the book on barnesandnoble.com. And in that podcast, over the next 90 days, we're going to unpack 14 episodes. Why 14 episodes? Well, guess what?
Because there's 14 chapters to the book, Daryl.
You got it. So we're going to go deep in each chapter and go deep and apply what's in the chapter, share some things that didn't make it in a book. I know when you write a book, Larry, those editors are ruthless. They cut stuff out.
Well, I will
read.
No, I will tell you this as well. So we're going to go deep. There's going to be some stuff that obviously is not in the book, but as we're talking about this right now, and as the book launches, I'm deep into the audio version of Selling in a Post-Trust World, and buckle up because I've added some things into the audio that you won't find in the book.
Yeah, so we'll be able to unpack all of that and more in the Selling in a Post-Trust World private podcast. How do you get access? Well, it's really simple. Go to barnesandnoble.com, buy the book there. If you already have a copy, hey, you can give this to one of your clients. Buy a couple of them. We want to get this out to the world because this is a message that's incredibly powerful. And so you'll see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen. If you're listening in on audio, it's really simple. Sellinginapostrustworld.com. You'll see everything you need to see to get access to that. Once you get access to the private podcast, you can listen on your mobile phone just like you listen to any other podcast. It's going to be really, really fantastic. I'm excited about it. I want to go back to this trust formula. And you mentioned before this brief commercial break that we took, Larry, that you can actually apply the trust formula in your private life. And what I think is beautiful about this book is that the trust formula is something that you can build on. So we've explained in the podcast the trust formula. In fact, I'm just going to pull it up right here. You can actually find it on sellinginaposttrustworld.com. Look at this beautiful book. Hang on right here, Larry. I'm going to add this to the screen.
Drum roll.
What
there
a
you
great
go.
looking book. Shout out to Jeremy, our graphic designer, on the cover of this book. What I love about this, when you get the book, you're going to see, you may not be able to see it on the screen, but when you get the book, it looks like it was wrapped in saran wrap and someone actually peeled it open to get to the core. And I think this is really, really cool. On the Selling from the Heart book, we had a heart, you'll remember, and the heart was like ripped open because we wanted to get to the heart of selling. Here, this beautiful graphic design is just kind of saying, hey, we've got to get through this layer of protection, this saran wrap, this skepticism that we find wrapped around all of our prospects out there to build trust. So hats off to Jeremy, our graphic designer. Hats off as well to the entire team. We got to give a shout out, Larry, to the entire team at Morgan James Publishing. There we go. Morgan James Publishing, David Hancock, and the entire team over there for bringing this to life. Morgan James Publishing has done a phenomenal job at getting this book to market, and a huge shout out to all the salespeople at Morgan James Publishing who are out representing this book to booksellers all over the world, which is super, super cool.
Hey, there's and I agree. And David Hancock is one amazing person. There's also somebody else I want to give a shout out to, Daryl. And really, this all doesn't happen without this person, and that's Kim Thompson Pinder. She's gotten a front row seat into both of these books. She's been a huge, huge, huge asset to us. Kim, we love you because you've been with us from day one. You helped bring Selling from the Heart to the forefront. And you also helped bring Selling in a Post-Trust World to the forefront. If it wasn't for you, I don't think I'd make it to David Hancock.
Well, hey, we got some people live chiming in.
Hey, Nelson's all the way from India. Nelson, has been great getting to know you, waving fantastic. The flag around Selling from the Heart. And we've actually been communicating this morning.
Awesome. All the way over in India. Can you believe this, Larry? A global, we say this at Selling from the Heart all the time, and this is actually true. This is a global movement of authenticity in the sales profession, and it's so fun. I know a lot of people are out in the field right now, so you're going to be watching this later, but if you are online, feel free to chime in. Hey, look who else is here.
Hey, Steven.
So exciting.
Well, I'm excited for you to dig into this. When you get the book, you'll have to reach out to me. Let me know what your thoughts are, and we can connect about it. I appreciate you.
Yeah, super, super cool. And if you're watching later, feel free to chime in on the comments here. It has been so cool watching all the feedback stream in. And Larry, I got to say, there is a lot of goodwill towards you in the sales profession, and everybody, on behalf of everybody, I really, really want to say thank you for pouring your heart into this book.
No, well, I appreciate it. I just do what I love. And you already know this. A big part of my why operating system is I believe success happens when I contribute to a greater cause. That's what I'm doing. That's what the team's doing here at Selling from the Heart, is we deeply believe in moving this needle in this profession that we just love called sales. It's all around bringing your authentic self to the forefront. However, you got to bring those soft skills to build trust. And that's why Selling in a Post-Trust World is so impactful right now. And we're going to unpack, and I will unpack the trust formula, but it really all starts, and Daryl, you can layer in this as well, because you had a front row seat into this. So did Jackie Joy. It all starts with building authentic relationships. The first part of this, actually, it's like the front end of this and the back end of this are the two most important parts, because you need discipline, you need authentic relationships. But the first two parts of this book are the glue. That's how you build authentic relationships. And the second part of this is how you bring meaningful value, Daryl.
Yeah, these are the two sides of the trust coin. And if you think about these are themes that we can build on. You've got to build authentic relationships, and you've got to bring meaningful value. Both of those ingredients are essential. Without those, you're going to really struggle. Relationships, no value. Got a lot of friends, need someone to buy you lunch because you're broke. Value, no relationships. Same thing. You're going to be the smartest person in the room, but you're not going to sell anything. And so these two things are so critical. And then we got the force multipliers, which is what I love. When you buy the book, you're going to see this is a formula. So it's authentic relationships plus meaningful value multiplied by these next two things.
Yeah. And I think the fun part of this is the inspirational experience. And I've always thrown stake in the ground on this one, that this is how you show up. And it's not just showing up to create an experience, it's showing up to create that inspirational experience. And we all know this, that leaders inspire and influence. And we believe here at Selling from the Heart, sales professionals are leaders. The question for all of you to just reflect on for a moment: are you creating inspiration for your clients and your future clients? And y'all work for a great company that has great support, great products, great service. But guess what? It's how you show up that matters. That's how you're going to be remembered. The question is how do y'all want to be remembered? I want to be remembered as that someone who creates that inspirational experience that goes, oh, wow, I can't wait to talk to this person again.
That's absolutely right. And then you got to back that up with some disciplined habits. Not the fun part, but hey, look, if you want to build trust, you got to follow through. You've got to be consistent. And you hit it head on in this book, Larry. And that's the grit part of this, where we're going to commit to being disciplined in what we do, and all of this together creates something really beautiful. Lots of comments coming in. I love how Jackie Joy calls the inspirational experience the edge of the trust coin. If relationships and value are the either side, it's all wrapped together by the inspirational experience. Shout out to Chris. Chris is can't wait to get his hands on a copy. That's great. Love that picture of Chris in the mountains too. We got to talk, Chris. That looks like fun to me. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, Nelson had to give. Hey, Daryl, Nelson had to give you some love. That's all good.
That's good. And look at this. This is so cool just to see the friends from all over the world that are diving into this and making this happen. We even have anonymous LinkedIn users giving us a shout out today. So, hey, but what I want to ask, and so many of you have done this, and I want to ask this. I want to ask that sometime this morning that you take your phone, grab your phone, hold up the book, put on a big smile, grab a selfie, and share this on your social media channels. Or when
you order the book, just go ahead and screenshot it.
Yeah, screenshot it, share it.
We appreciate it.
We really do, and this is a really, really fantastic way to help us spread the message. Look, here's the deal. There are hundreds of thousands of books, millions of books out there, and this one is special, and this is a special day. So the reality is, it just takes a community of us to gather around Larry and gather around this movement and this theme of trust. And so let's gather around him. Let's flood the internet. Let's break the internet today with pictures of Selling a Post-Trust World. But it's so fun seeing these pictures come in, and some of them are actually on the Selling a Post-Trust World website. We'll have to figure out how to get more of these up there. But it's so fun because you see our friends sharing this book.
Hey, there's so many people to shout out on here, but there's one I got to give a special shout out to, and that's Mike Weinberg. And I love this guy. He's been on this journey with me. He's seen this from the actual beginning, before Selling from the Heart was Selling from the Heart. Check out the foreword that Mike Weinberg wrote in this book. It absolutely brought me to tears, but it blew me away.
Well, it's so cool. And also, I just love this top left picture that our friend Bill McCormick took. And it is literally in front of a bunch of empty suits. It's so funny. And I just got to tell this story early on, when we were gonna, when you were thinking about this book, we really wanted to expand on this topic of the empty suit, because you said it in Selling from the Heart. Don't be an empty suit. Don't be that sales professional that shows up with all style and no substance. And so we started with this theme of the empty suit. And what's so cool is, I love how the trust formula emerged from that thought, in this title, which is dynamic and powerful and awesome. Larry, I think is so cool. But the empty suit, we wanted to fill the empty suit with this book. And I think you've pulled it off.
No, well, thank you. In what I've done is the last chapter, Selling from the Heart, is obviously don't be an empty suit. But the only word that comes to mind, it just bleeds right into how I started off selling in a post-trust world, by just expanding on how I left off in Selling from the Heart and how we pick back up in selling in a post-trust world. So the whole beginning of the book is all around how not to become an empty suit, which then kickstarts off the trust formula. So good.
Yeah, it is. It's so fun. Well, just a couple other fun things. I would just want everyone to see this, because this has been so cool. How our friends who are thought leaders, authors, speakers, world-renowned trainers, have stepped up to say great things about this book. And what I think is cool, and I just massive gratitude to every single one of them. You see our friend Liz here, who we just interviewed for the Selling from the Heart podcast. Just get ready. That's going to go live in October. What a fun episode. But this, I think, is a quote that really reflects the beauty of this. And that is, those who boldly step into the trust arena will become top salespeople and business professionals. And I think what's cool about this book and about the trust formula is it layers onto any sales methodology. And I've seen it work across multiple industries, in business to business, in business to consumer, in government sales, all types of different selling. Some people that are selling that are selling full cycle selling, where you prospect and you build the relationship and you develop the sale, close it, manage the account, to people who are in different types of sales arrangements where there might be BDRs, and all of this in banking, in finance, in healthcare, in insurance, in construction, in food services. Like, all these different industries are benefiting from the trust formula. And I think that's what's cool about what's come together in this book, is it applies to every facet of selling, even people who are selling that don't think they're in sales or don't really even want to use the S word, but they're responsible for their entrepreneurs developing their business. This trust formula applies. And I think it's a universal truth that is going to really, really help a lot of people.
Yeah. Hey, absolutely. Hey, before we sign off, you got to pull up the comment from Dave Sanderson, because I'm going to give Dave Sanderson a shout out. And Dave, I know you're watching. I just want to say I love you, because Dave's played a very integral part in not only how Selling from the Heart's come to be, but he played a part in selling in a post-trust world, because Dave kickstarts off this book in a very, very important way. In the way I only know Dave Sanderson can, because he knows me really well, because he's been there right by my side over the last 2 to 3 years. Dave, I love you. You know how much you mean to us here at Selling from the Heart, but you've been forever ingrained in this book. Thank you.
Here. I mean, the idea of a formula came from Dave.
It did.
And that was, was following a dinner with Dave and our now good friend Don Barden, where we're going, well, if there were a formula to fill the empty suit, what are all the components that would need to come into place? And that's where the trust formula came from. And by
the way, these two gentlemen have thrown very cold glasses of water in our face, but for a very good reason. Because if they didn't, this wouldn't be here. So thank you. Absolutely. Don Barden and Dave Sanderson, I owe you just so much on this.
All right. Wow. Here it is. The day is here, Larry. Congratulations. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everybody who is buying the book. And I'm going to make one more request now. And that is, when you buy the book, or if you already have, the next thing we got to get is we've got to get reviews. And this, as an author, I know, and every author knows, reviews are priceless. They're so helpful, and they are so hard to get, because you know what? We all just buy a book and we go on with our day and read it. But the one thing that would be extremely helpful to everybody listening in is to go review the book wherever you bought it. If you bought it on Barnes and Noble, thank you. Go to barnesandnoble.com. If you bought it on another platform, you bought it on Amazon or at any other bookstore, Target, you can buy this at Target. How cool is that? Thank you to our friends at Morgan James Publishers who are expanding the distribution. Wherever you bought this book, will you do Larry will you give him a gift? This is more than a favor. This is a gift. Give him the gift of 2 or 3 sentences and a review on the book. Now, if you read the book and you hate it,
blame it on Daryl. Don't blame it on me. Blame it on Daryl.
Send me a note if you don't like the book. But if you like the book and you like Larry and you like what's going on here at Selling from the Heart, our heartfelt request to you is, would you leave us a review? Would you leave Larry a review on whatever platform you bought the book on? And, if you want bonus points, go buy it on multiple platforms and leave a verified review. You don't have to do that, but I'll tell you what, it really does mean a lot when these reviews show up, because once again, we want to get the message out there. We want this movement of trust and authenticity. And I want to wrap up just by talking about the heart behind Selling from the Heart. Larry, you set out when you wrote the book Selling from the Heart, and when we started that podcast years ago, I think it was birthed out of, we really love this sales profession. It's been good to us. It's been good to, it's been good to so many people. But the problem is the profession has gotten a bad name by some bad actors over the years. And so we're on this quest with this movement of authenticity and trust to transform this industry that we all love, that's been all good to us. And so this is not a book. This is not this is a movement of building trust and authenticity in the sales profession. And Larry, you've kicked this movement off and become a massive ringleader in it. And I'm grateful for that.
No, I appreciate it. It means a lot. I raised my whole family by being a salesperson. I love every lick of this profession. I love the clients that 20 years and 25 years ago that I sold them stuff that I'm still friends with today in the community that I live in. So one last thing I want to share is, when you read this book, I've written it in a very conversational way, and I'm giving you all permission to let go, become your true authentic self, which is the core in Selling from the Heart, but wrap it around how to build trust, how to do what you know is right. When you read this book, just feel like my arms just sitting right around you and saying, you know what? It's okay. It's okay to let go and just be yourself. And that's what you're going to find out when you read this book. So thank you.
Yeah. So Larry, once again, thank you to you. Thank you to everybody who's listening in and cheering on this book. So our 2 requests: number 1, go to barnesandnoble.com. I don't know if you shop there all the time. I don't know if it's been a while since you've shopped there, but do us a favor and go to barnesandnoble.com and buy that book. It'll help. We're working to expand the distribution. It gets their attention. It also, everyone watches them as well. It's super, super helpful. And so when you do, go to barnesandnoble.com, also go to sellinginaposttrustworld.com with your order number, and you can claim those bonus items, especially the Selling in a Post Trust World private podcast. Second of all, please, will you take a few minutes, even if it's one sentence, even if it says great book, Larry, whatever that is, take just a few minutes, go back to the platform where you bought the book and leave a review. It'd mean a ton to us. It really, really helps. And Larry's very competitive about this. I remember on Selling from the Heart, Larry always reminds me about how many reviews he got versus the number of reviews on my book. So,
Oh, stop,
no,
Daryl.
you know this happens. So, but it is important, and it's part of what's driving this movement. So go grab your copy. Thank you to everyone who has already. Thank you to everyone who's sharing this on your social media channels today. Thank you to everyone who's leaving a review. And as we sign off the podcast every week, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust. Go buy Selling in a Post-Trust World at Barnes & Noble. And most of all,
Sell from the heart. We appreciate all of you.
thank you, everybody. Have a great day.